Beloved, hear me when I say this. God's promise will manifest tonight, not in some distant future, not in the days to come, but tonight. Heaven has already spoken your name into the atmosphere. The angels have already been dispatched with your blessing in hand. The divine calendar has flipped to your day, and the appointed time for your promise has arrived. You see, there are moments in life when the hand of God interrupts the natural flow of time. There are seasons when the ordinary becomes supernatural and what was delayed suddenly accelerates. This is that moment. You've been waiting, hoping, and believing, and now the voice of God whispers into your spirit. This is your night of manifestation. God is not a man that he should lie, nor the Son of Man that he should repent. What he has spoken concerning you must come to pass. Every word that left his mouth carries divine authority. When he declared your healing, your breakthrough, your restoration, your increase, it was sealed in eternity. But tonight, heaven and earth are aligning to bring that word into your reality. You've been walking through the wilderness, but tonight you're stepping into your promised land. You've been carrying prophecy in your spirit like a woman carrying a child, and now it's time to give birth. The contractions you've been feeling, the pressure, the warfare, the stretching, it wasn't punishment, it was preparation. You were being positioned for delivery. This is not just another evening. No, this is a divine appointment, a night written in the eternal record before you were even born. God knew you would be here at this precise hour, reading or hearing these words with your heart open and your spirit ready. He orchestrated this moment before time began. Every delay you faced, every disappointment that tried to break you was setting the stage for this unveiling. God allowed it so that when the manifestation arrived, you would know it wasn't luck. It was his promise being fulfilled. The same God who parted the Red Sea, who rained manna from heaven, who raised Lazarus from the dead, is still performing miracles, and he's about to perform one for you. You've been asking, Lord, when? You've been saying, God, I've done all I know to do, but I see no change. Hear me. Heaven heard you the first time. From the moment you prayed, the answer was released, but warfare in the spirit realm tried to hinder it. Just like Daniel, your answer was held up by resistance, but tonight that resistance is being broken. The Prince of Persia can no longer block what God has ordained. The heavenly dispatch has been activated. The command has gone forth. Release the blessing, release the breakthrough, release the promise. There is a divine acceleration happening right now. What should have taken months will happen in days. What should have taken years will unfold before dawn. Can you feel it? There's a stirring in your spirit, a trembling in your atmosphere. The presence of God is hovering the way it hovered over the waters before creation began. Something is being formed in your favor. Doors are unlocking, hearts are shifting, opportunities are emerging. The unseen realm is moving on your behalf. God is not waiting on circumstances. He's commanding them to move into alignment. He's not asking permission from anyone to bless you. He's not consulting your past or your qualifications. He's doing it because he promised. And when God promises, he performs. His word cannot return void. It must accomplish what he sent it to do. Tonight, the light of God is breaking through your darkness. The chains of delay are falling off. The barriers that stood between you and your next level are being dismantled. Every obstacle that said you can't is bowing to the power of God will. Every lie the enemy told you, that you missed your moment, that it's too late, that it will never happen, is being silenced by the truth of heaven. It is your appointed time. You are not too late. You are right on schedule for your miracle. The God who governs time has synchronized heaven's clock with your destiny. So prepare yourself. This is your midnight hour of deliverance. Just as Paul and Silas prayed and sang praises in the prison, and suddenly the chains fell off and the doors flew open, God is about to move suddenly in your life. You're coming out of confinement into freedom. You're coming out of lack into overflow. You're coming out of waiting into witnessing. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead is now quickening your situation. It's breathing life into what looked finished, resurrecting what looked buried, restoring what looked beyond repair. Beloved, God's promise is not a distant dream. It's a living decree, and tonight it comes alive. Heaven's attention is on you. The winds of change are blowing in your direction. The rain of favor is about to fall upon your dry ground. You're standing on the threshold of manifestation, and before this night is over, you'll know that God has remembered you. He has not forgotten the prayers you whispered through your tears. He has not ignored the sacrifices you made when no one else understood. Every act of faith, every seed sown, every tear shed has been stored in heaven's account. And tonight, the withdrawal slip is being signed by the hand of God Himself. This is your Kairos moment, your divinely appointed season where everything changes. Heaven's doors are opening, and what has been written about you in eternity is being downloaded into time. Stand firm, lift your head, stretch your faith, because what God spoke over your life is about to manifest tonight. But listen carefully, manifestation demands preparation. You cannot receive the promise of God while still thinking like the person you were in your last season. God will not pour new oil into an old vessel because the old vessel cannot handle the weight, the power, and the responsibility that comes with the new blessing. The promise of tonight requires a shift, a cleansing, a spiritual reordering. You cannot enter into a divine moment carrying the baggage of yesterday. That's why before every miracle, God calls His people to prepare. Before the flood, Noah built. Before the Exodus, Israel packed. Before the fire fell, Elijah rebuilt the altar. And before your breakthrough arrives, God is commanding your preparation. Preparation is not about activity. It's about alignment. It's the posture of expectation that says, Lord, I'm ready for what you're about to do. It's when your heart begins to match heaven's rhythm. Some of you have been asking for increase, but God has been waiting for you to make room. You can't receive 100-fold harvest if your hands are still holding on to yesterday's loss. You can't experience abundance if your mindset is still anchored in scarcity. You can't step into divine relationships if you're still chained to the pain of betrayal. God is saying, release it. Empty yourself so I can fill you. Clear out the old so I can pour in the new. Prepare your atmosphere for what's about to arrive. Sometimes God will strip you before He blesses you. He'll allow certain people to walk away, not because they were evil, but because they were not assigned to your next level. He'll close doors that once made you comfortable so that you'll be forced to walk through the ones that will make you grow. You might feel like everything is being taken from you, but in reality, everything unnecessary is being removed from you. It's divine subtraction to make room for supernatural addition. God doesn't prune because He's angry. He prunes because He's preparing you for greater fruit. And tonight, He's saying, get your house in order. Make space for the promise. You see, the miracle doesn't show up to the unprepared. The oil didn't flow until the widow gathered her empty vessels. The manna didn't fall until Israel stepped out in obedience. The resurrection didn't happen until the stone was rolled away. There's always a human action that precedes divine manifestation. So, what is God asking you to do tonight? Maybe it's forgiveness. Maybe it's letting go of bitterness. Maybe it's cleaning up your environment or breaking a toxic pattern. Whatever it is, obedience is the key that opens the gate to the miraculous. You cannot pray for manifestation while holding on to disobedience. The kingdom of God operates on principle, and preparation is the principle of promotion. Beloved, preparation is not punishment, it's a privilege. It's a sign that heaven has chosen you for manifestation. When God begins to deal with your character, your habits, your thoughts, It's not rejection, it's refinement. He's getting you ready to handle what you've been praying for. Some people want the promise, but not the process. But the process is what gives you the capacity to sustain the blessing once it arrives. Without preparation, the weight of the promise could crush you. That's why God sometimes delays the manifestation, not because he's forgotten, but because he's fortifying you. He's building spiritual muscles that will carry the mantle that's about to rest on your life. And hear me, when heaven gets ready to release something great, God first prepares the vessel. That's why your spirit has been restless. That's why your heart has been stirring. You've been feeling something shifting inside you, even when nothing around you seemed to change. That's preparation in motion. Heaven has been conditioning your heart, fine-tuning your discernment, and increasing your capacity to receive. You may have thought you were waiting on God, but in truth, God was waiting on you, waiting for you to believe at a deeper level, waiting for you to speak differently, waiting for you to position yourself for the downpour. So tonight, prepare your altar, prepare your faith, prepare your expectation. Walk through your home and declare, this is a manifestation zone. Speak over your life and say, I am ready for what God has promised me. Because when heaven finds preparation, it releases acceleration. When God sees readiness, he releases reward. The reason some promises haven't shown up yet is not because God changed his mind. It's because he's waiting for you to stand in alignment with what he already declared. So cleanse your spirit, release the fear, silence the doubt. Let your heart be a sanctuary where God's glory can rest. For when preparation meets prophecy, manifestation is inevitable. The Spirit of the Lord says, be ready, not anxious, not doubtful, but ready. Ready to move when he speaks, ready to receive when he releases, ready to walk into doors that open suddenly. Tonight is not about wishing, it's about positioning. The promise is set. Now prepare to possess it. Because when the divine clock strikes midnight, the release will not wait for hesitation. It will fall upon those who have made room, those whose hearts are ready, those who have prepared their spirits for what heaven is about to deliver. And when it comes, it will not come in small measure. It will come pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Now, let me tell you something about delay. Delay is not denial. The enemy wants you to believe that because it hasn't happened yet. It never will. He whispers lies into your spirit, saying if God was really going to do it, it would have happened by now. But I came to declare tonight that the delay you've experienced was divine. God was never late. He was strategic. He wasn't ignoring you. He was perfecting you. Every moment that felt like waiting was actually preparation in disguise. Heaven was orchestrating details you couldn't see, aligning people you didn't know, and arranging circumstances that had to be in place before your promise could manifest. What looked like a setback was really a setup. You see, God's timing is not measured in seconds and minutes. It's measured in purpose and alignment. When the fullness of time comes, nothing can stop the release. Every delay carries within it a divine purpose to shape your faith, to sharpen your character, and to prepare your spirit to hold what you've been asking for. Think about Joseph, betrayed, enslaved, imprisoned. For years, it looked like every promise God made to him was forgotten. But what Joseph didn't know was that each delay was a link in the chain that led to destiny. By the time the promise manifested, Joseph wasn't just ready to receive it, he was ready to rule in it. And that's what God has been doing for you. He's been maturing your faith so you can reign where he's taking you. Every tear you cried, every door that closed, every season that felt like silence, none of it was wasted. Heaven records every moment of endurance. Sometimes God delays your blessing because the environment you were in could not sustain it. He couldn't let you bloom in a place that would trample your growth. So he held the promise back until he could transplant you into the right soil. There are people who had to walk away opportunities that had to fall apart, not because you did anything wrong, but because God refused to let your harvest grow in contaminated ground. The delay was your protection. The delay was your insulation. The delay was God's way of saying, I love you too much to let you settle for less than my best. And I know you've asked, God, why are you taking so long? But child of God, what you call long, heaven calls on time. What feels delayed to your clock is perfectly synchronized to heaven's calendar. You are not waiting aimlessly. You are being strategically positioned. There are seasons when God hides you not to punish you, but to preserve you. He hides you so the enemy can't sabotage what's growing inside you. He hides you so your promise can mature in secret. He hides you until the moment you can be revealed in glory. Jesus himself spent 30 years in obscurity for 3 years of ministry because destiny cannot be rushed. There is always a divine process before a public manifestation. So stop interpreting silence as absence. Stop mistaking waiting for wasting. God's silence is often a sign that he's working behind the scenes. When a seed is planted in the ground, it disappears for a while. It looks buried, but in reality, it's being transformed. That's what your delay has been, a hidden transformation. You've been growing roots, developing resilience, learning how to trust God without evidence. Because when the promise finally comes, it won't be fragile. It will be fortified. It won't be something you can lose easily because you'll have the faith to sustain it. God has been developing your spiritual infrastructure so the weight of his glory won't crush you when it arrives. Sometimes the delay is also about timing others around you. God may be preparing someone else who's part of your blessing. He may be raising up a connection, opening a position, or aligning circumstances that are intertwined with your destiny. You are not waiting alone. Heaven is synchronizing every moving piece. When Joseph was waiting in prison, Pharaoh's cupbearer had to remember him. When Esther was being prepared in the palace, Mordecai had to be positioned at the gate. When Ruth was gleaning in the field, Boaz had to notice her. Timing is everything in the kingdom. And when the fullness of time comes, you won't have to force the door. It will swing open before you. I know it's been hard to stay faithful in the waiting, but let me remind you, faith that only works when things happen fast is not real faith. True faith is proven in the waiting. True faith says, even if I don't see it yet, I still believe it. True faith stands tall when nothing seems to move. It declares, though the vision tarries, I will wait for it shall surely come. Every delay has been a test of your consistency, your endurance, your ability to trust God when you can't trace him. And because you did not give up, because you kept believing, tonight God says, it's time. The spiritual embargo is being lifted. The season of waiting is ending. The divine release is here. What has been delayed is being delivered. What was held up is being handed over. The prayers that felt unanswered are about to manifest as tangible blessings. Every day you waited was building momentum in the unseen realm. And now the floodgates are about to burst open. The delay was not to deny you, it was to multiply you. When God finally releases what he's been holding back, it won't come in fragments, it will come in fullness. You won't receive a portion, you'll receive overflow. The time you thought was wasted will be redeemed. The years the locusts have eaten will be restored, and you will stand and say, the Lord was working all along. The delay was divine, and the promise was worth the wait. You must now put your faith in motion. This is not the time to sit idle or retreat into hesitation. Heaven responds to movement. Faith that acts, faith that speaks, faith that stretches beyond what the eyes can see. God never rewards stagnation. He rewards action. He told Abraham, go. And only when Abraham moved did the covenant unfold. He told Peter, cast your net, and only when Peter obeyed did the nets break with overflow. He told the lepers, go show yourselves to the priest. And as they went, they were healed. Your miracle is not in the waiting. it's in the moving. Faith without works is dead. And tonight, God is stirring your spirit to take a step into the unknown, trusting that His hand will meet you there. Faith is not a feeling, it's a force. It is the unseen current that draws the promise from heaven into the earth. When you act in faith, you become a magnet for manifestation. Heaven moves at the speed of your obedience. God is saying, I've already declared it. Now demonstrate it. Speak as if it's done. Walk as if it's real. Rejoice as if you've already received it. You don't wait for evidence to believe. You believe until the evidence appears. That's what separates those who merely dream from those who possess. Faith in motion is not passive, it is prophetic. It calls forth what isn't visible yet. It dares to speak light into darkness and healing into pain. It declares, it may not look like it now, but I know what God said, and what He said must come to pass. Every time you speak in faith, something shifts in the unseen realm. Words are not just sound, they are spirit. They carry creative power. God didn't think the world into existence. He spoke it. And since you are made in His image, your words hold creative authority. When you decree a thing, it shall be established. So stop saying you're waiting and start saying it's here. Stop saying, I don't know how, and start saying, God's already made a way. Your faith-filled words are the blueprint heaven uses to build your future. Speak with boldness. Declare your breakthrough, your increase, your healing, your restoration, your open doors. The angels of God respond to the sound of faith, and tonight they are waiting for your decree. Faith in motion doesn't just talk, it walks. It worships when it doesn't make sense. It praises when nothing looks promising. It gives when it feels uncomfortable. It forgives when the pain is still fresh. Faith is not proven in convenience. It's proven in commitment. Anyone can believe when it's easy, but it takes a warrior to believe when everything looks impossible. Yet that's where God moves most, right in the middle of impossibility. Because faith transforms the atmosphere. It disrupts fear, silences doubt, and invites divine power to intervene. When you move in faith, heaven's resources begin to converge around you. The Red Sea only parted when Moses raised his staff. Jericho's walls only fell when Israel marched. David only defeated Goliath when he ran toward the battle. Faith is forward motion. Maybe tonight, God is waiting for your step. Maybe He's saying, if you'll take one step, I'll open the next door. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. The woman with the issue of blood didn't wait for an invitation. She pressed through the crowd, saying to herself, if I can just touch the hem of His garment, I'll be made whole. And as she moved, virtue flowed. Miracles respond to movement. Faith that stands still misses divine timing, but faith that moves forward walks right into destiny. So tonight, let your action match your expectation. Praise like it's done. Pray like it's finished. Prepare like it's here. God doesn't move when you're ready. He moves when you believe. There's a sound heaven recognizes, the sound of radical faith. The kind of faith that says, I refuse to stay stuck another day. The kind of faith that breaks through barriers and commands, let there be. The kind of faith that refuses to be intimidated by time, circumstance, or statistics. That's the faith that pleases God. That's the faith that pulls miracles into manifestation. And right now, God is asking you to speak, to declare, to move. Don't let doubt paralyze you. Don't let fear convince you that it's too late. This is the moment to act like you already have what you've been praying for. Speak life over your home. Walk your room declaring, breakthrough lives here. Blessing dwells here. Miracles manifest here. Let your voice fill the atmosphere with faith. Faith in motion also means obedience in action. God will often test your faith through simple instructions. Give, let go, forgive, let go. They may not make sense to the natural mind, but miracles rarely do. Naaman was healed when he dipped 7 times in the Jordan, not because the water was special, but because obedience activated his miracle. When you act on God's word, you partner with his power. Every act of faith invites heaven to demonstrate. You don't need all the answers, just obedience to the next instruction. When you do your part, God will do the impossible. When you move your feet, he moves the mountain. So tonight, let faith come alive in you. Don't just believe quietly, declare loudly. Don't just hope, act. Don't just wish, walk in it. Every time you step in faith, you step into a greater realm of manifestation. You're not waiting for heaven. Heaven is waiting for you to move. Faith is not waiting on evidence. It is creating evidence. And when God sees that kind of faith, he responds immediately, suddenly becomes your reality, instantly becomes your testimony. This is your night to move in faith, to speak as if it's done, to walk as if it's yours, to praise as if you already hold the promise in your hand. Because when faith moves, mountains move. And tonight, they're moving for you. And hear me, beloved, your reward is ready. It's not in preparation, it's already been prepared. Heaven has been holding it, waiting for this divine moment of release. What you've been praying for, crying for, laboring for, has been finished in the spirit long before you ever ask. God didn't start working on your blessing when you prayed. He finished it before you were born. The promise was complete, sealed, and waiting for the appointed time. And now the appointed time has come. This is the moment when prophecy becomes reality. This is the night when the invisible becomes visible. You've been waiting, but now the wait is over. The windows of heaven are opening and the floodgates of favor are pouring out upon you in full measure. Your reward has your name on it, and nothing can divert it, delay it, or destroy it. You've endured the crushing, and now it's time for the oil to flow. You've walked through the fire, and now it's time for the gold to shine. Every tear that fell was watering the soil of your harvest. Every battle that bruised you was breaking ground for the seed of your blessing. God saw every hidden sacrifice, every moment you chose faith over fear, every time you gave even when you had little, every prayer you whispered when your strength was gone. Heaven took note, and tonight heaven is responding. The scripture says, your labor in the Lord is not in vain. God keeps immaculate records, and not one act of obedience has gone unnoticed. You didn't endure all that for nothing. There is a divine recompense on the way. The God who sees in secret is about to reward you openly. The tables are turning in your favor. What was against you is now working for you. The same places where you were rejected will call you back to celebrate you. The same doors that once shut in your face will swing wide open at your arrival. God is not just giving you what you lost. He's multiplying it. For every year the enemy stole, there's a double portion waiting. For every tear you cried, there's a double joy being released. You are about to experience the kind of restoration that leaves people in awe, because God never restores things back to their original state. He always makes them greater. Job lost everything, but when God rewarded him, he received twice as much as before. And tonight, that same God is saying to you, get ready for your double. This is the season of divine vindication. You've been misunderstood, misjudged, overlooked. But God is about to make it all make sense. He's about to showcase his glory through your life. The same people who counted you out will witness your elevation. The same voices that spoke against you will have to testify of your turnaround. You don't need to prove yourself. God is going to prove you. He's going to make your life the evidence of his faithfulness. When you tried to defend yourself, he told you to stay silent because he was writing a greater ending. And now that ending is here. The victory is yours, not because of your power, but because of your perseverance. You refuse to quit, and now heaven is honoring your endurance. And let me tell you, this reward is not just material, it's spiritual, emotional, and generational. God is restoring peace to your mind, strength to your body, and joy to your heart. He's mending what was broken and healing what was hidden. You are stepping into a rest you've never known, into favor that feels effortless, into blessings that overtake you before you can even ask. The struggle that once defined you will become your testimony. The pain that once broke you will become your platform. You will no longer chase opportunities. Opportunities will begin to chase you. You won't have to knock on doors. Doors will open because your name is now echoing in rooms you've never entered. That's what divine reward looks like. It's God's way of announcing, this is my chosen one. This is whom I have favored. Even the timing of your breakthrough is perfect. Had it come sooner, you wouldn't have been ready. Had it come later, it would have missed its purpose. But now, in this very moment, everything aligns. Heaven is synchronized with your destiny. The wind is shifting, the ground is trembling, and the season is changing. You're moving from waiting to walking, from hoping to holding, from believing to beholding. The delay was just the setup for divine acceleration. What took others years to achieve will happen for you in moments. You're stepping into a season where things will happen suddenly. Suddenly, the phone will ring. Suddenly, the offer will come. Suddenly, the opportunity will appear. Suddenly, the healing will manifest. Suddenly, the door will open, and you'll know it was nobody but God. So lift up your eyes, because your help, your harvest, your reward, it's here. The night of labor has ended, and morning has come. The darkness that covered your vision is lifting, and the light of manifestation is shining bright. God is saying, you've been faithful over a few things. Now I will make you ruler over many. You've graduated from the season of struggle to the season of significance. You're moving from surviving to thriving, from enduring to enjoying, from holding on to walking in overflow. Heaven is celebrating you tonight. Angels are delivering what's been written about you. Your reward is not on its way, it has arrived. And when you receive it, give God the glory, because this victory, this manifestation, this reward will not only bless you, it will bless everyone connected to you. So tonight, as you prepare your heart, lift your hands and say, Lord, I'm ready, ready to receive, ready to walk in the manifestation of your word, ready to see the evidence of everything I've believed for, because this is not an ordinary night. This is a divine encounter. Heaven has marked this moment as your turning point. You are standing on the threshold between what was and what will be. The shift has already begun. What you've been praying for is no longer in process, it's in progress. You've crossed the invisible line between waiting and winning. The heavens are open over you, and what has been hovering above your life is about to fall into your hands. I feel it in the spirit. There's an acceleration taking place right now. Things that were once moving slowly are about to speed up. Delayed blessings are being released with interest. God is redeeming the time that felt lost. The years that slipped through your fingers are being restored with increase. You're not just getting back what you lost. You're stepping into more than you imagined. The favor coming your way is going to erase the pain of the past. The breakthrough arriving tonight will make every battle worth it. The struggle that once made you question God will soon make you glorify Him. This is the hour where divine manifestation becomes your reality, where every prayer begins to take shape in the physical realm. I want you to understand something profound. When God moves, He doesn't do partial work. He finishes what He starts. The moment His word is released, it carries the power to perform itself. And tonight, that word has been activated over your life. It's dismantling demonic resistance, reversing negative cycles, and unlocking doors that have been sealed for too long. The chains of lack are breaking. The walls of fear are crumbling. Every generational limitation that's been hovering over your bloodline is being broken in the mighty name of Jesus. You are the chosen one to end the cycle. You are the vessel God has raised to bring light into your family line. You're not just being blessed, you're becoming a blessing, a living testimony that God still keeps His promises. So open your mouth tonight and begin to decree what you desire. Don't whisper, declare it boldly. Command the atmosphere to align with your destiny. Say, Lord, I receive my healing. I receive my promotion. I receive my peace. I receive my breakthrough. Heaven responds to the sound of expectation. Faith-filled words are the language of victory. What you release with your mouth becomes what manifests in your life. So speak with authority. This is the time to activate your divine right as a child of God. You don't beg for what has already been promised. You claim it. You don't plead for what's written. You possess it. The same spirit that raised Christ from the dead dwells in you, and that spirit is releasing resurrection power into every dead area of your life tonight. Look around you. Everything is shifting. The atmosphere is charged with glory. Angels are on assignment. The winds of change are blowing in your direction. The presence of God is settling in your space right now. You can feel it in your spirit. Something has broken loose. That tightness you've felt is lifting. That heaviness you've carried is being replaced with peace. That anxiety that kept you up at night is dissolving under the weight of God's presence. The warfare you've been facing was proof that the breakthrough was near. The enemy fought hard because he saw what was about to be released. But his time is up. The resistance is over. The manifestation has begun. And when this promise manifests, it will not come quietly. It will come with evidence. People will see it and say, surely the hand of the Lord has done this. Your life will become living proof that God rewards the faithful, that he still lifts the humble, that he still answers prayer. You will not need to explain or defend yourself. The fruit will speak. The doors will testify. The favor will reveal the fingerprints of God all over your life. You'll look back at this night and say, that was the moment it all changed, because tonight is not just a word, it's a divine transaction. Heaven has signed off on your victory. The release has been authorized. The reward has been dispatched. So lift your hands higher, let your spirit open wider, and begin to thank him in advance. Praise him like it's already done, because it is. Shout for joy before the evidence appears, because your praise is the seal of your faith. When you thank him before you see it, you pull it closer into manifestation. Gratitude is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. So worship him now. Cry if you need to, dance if you feel it. But whatever you do, don't hold back your praise. Tonight, your worship becomes your weapon. Your praise becomes your prophecy. Your declaration becomes your reality. You're not leaving this night the same way you came. You're leaving renewed, restored, and rewarded. Haven is announcing your arrival into a new season. The doors of opportunity are opening before you. The favor of God is overshadowing you. The things that once intimidated you will now bow to you. The waiting season has ended and the winning season has begun. So as you go forth from this night, walk with confidence, speak with authority, live with expectancy, because this is the night the Lord has chosen to manifest his promise in your life. You have waited long enough, prayed long enough, believed long enough. Now it's time to receive. Tonight, the heavens declare over you, it is done. God's promise has manifested. Your reward has arrived, and your life will never be the same again. And as the dawn begins to break, as the night gives way to the first light of morning, you will feel it, a quiet but undeniable confirmation that something has shifted forever. The air around you will feel lighter. Your spirit will feel stronger. Your thoughts will no longer be consumed by what was lost, but by what's coming next. Because when God fulfills a promise, he doesn't just restore what was broken, he renews everything connected to you. The very atmosphere around you changes to accommodate his glory. The people attached to your destiny will begin to find you. The opportunities assigned to your purpose will begin to align. You'll notice that things you once had to chase are now being drawn to you by divine magnetism. That's how manifestation works. It doesn't beg, it attracts. It doesn't compete, it commands. It doesn't struggle, it flows. You see, when God's promise manifests, it redefines your reality. The things that used to limit you lose their power. The opinions that used to discourage you no longer matter. The walls that once stood before you collapse under the weight of his favor. Every no you ever received begins to make sense because they were only making room for a greater yes. The pieces of your journey that once felt random start to form a divine pattern. You'll realize that nothing was wasted, not the pain, not the delay, not even the disappointment. Every tear watered the ground for your breakthrough. Every sleepless night was an altar of preparation. Every setback was a setup for this very moment of manifestation, because God is not the author of confusion. He is the architect of destiny, and he has been building something magnificent with your life, brick by brick, in silence, while you were wondering if he'd forgotten you. Now you stand on the other side of that waiting season, and heaven is saying, "Behold, I make all things new." You're stepping into a life that reflects his promises instead of your past pain. You'll begin to walk in rooms you once dreamed about. You'll hear your name mentioned in spaces where you were never invited before. You'll receive favor from people who don't even know your story but feel compelled to bless you. That's divine orchestration. When God begins to position you in the sightlines of those assigned to help you fulfill your purpose. You won't have to strive for attention. God himself will spotlight you. You won't have to fight for validation. Your fruit will speak louder than your words. The same people who questioned your faith will now witness your harvest. The ones who doubted your endurance will see the evidence of your divine reward. And when that moment comes, don't shrink back. Don't apologize for the abundance that's flowing into your life. You've prayed for this. You've sown for this. You've cried for this. This is your due season. This is the moment where the years of faithful endurance meet divine acceleration. Walk in it boldly. Speak like you've already won, because you have. Move like someone who has divine backing. You are not operating on human effort anymore. You're walking under an open heaven. Every step you take is guided by divine intelligence. Every decision you make is covered by supernatural wisdom. Every door that opens now has God's fingerprint on it. You're not striving, you're soaring. There is a peace that comes with manifestation. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's steady, anchored, and powerful. It's the peace of knowing that God kept his word. It's the stillness that fills your heart when you realize that all the storms were worth enduring because they led you here. You'll wake up and realize that the battle that once kept you crying now serves as a reminder of how far you've come. You'll look at yourself in the mirror and see strength where you once saw struggle, light where there once was doubt. And as you move forward, you'll carry the fragrance of victory everywhere you go. People will sense something different about you, not arrogance, but assurance, not pride, but presence, the kind of quiet confidence that only comes from walking with God through the valley and coming out radiant on the other side. So tonight is more than a promise fulfilled. It's a rebirth. You're not who you were before this night began. You've evolved. You've been refined in the fire, and now you're emerging as pure gold. The version of you that doubted, that feared, that hesitated, that version has been left behind in yesterday's shadows. The new you walks in divine rhythm. The new you trusts without wavering. The new you no longer chases validation because you've tasted divine approval. You've witnessed firsthand what it feels like to be seen by God, chosen by God, rewarded by God. That realization alone changes everything. It gives you courage. It gives you stability. It gives you clarity for what's next. And as you go forth, remember, this manifestation isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new dimension of favor, purpose, and glory. God didn't bring you this far just to show you a glimpse of his power. He's setting you up for continuous overflow. From this night forward, you will live in the rhythm of blessings chasing you down. You will operate under a divine ease where what once took years begins to happen in moments. Your harvest season won't just visit, it will dwell. Because once God's promise manifests, it doesn't fade, it multiplies. Tonight, you step into perpetual manifestation. You step into divine reward. You step into the reality of everything he spoke. And from this night forward, nothing about your life will ever be the same again. And when the manifestation of God's promise becomes visible, it won't just be something you see, it will be something everyone around you feels. The atmosphere of your life will shift so profoundly that people will sense that the hand of God is on you before you even speak. You'll walk into rooms and peace will follow you. You'll speak and clarity will fall on confused hearts. You'll pray and things will move in the unseen realm. Because when God fulfills a promise, he doesn't just bless you, he anoints you with evidence. You become a vessel of divine confirmation, a living testimony of his faithfulness and glory. Your life itself becomes a sermon, your presence a prophecy, your story a declaration that God still keeps his word. Everything connected to you will begin to rise. Your household will feel it. Your business will reflect it. Your health will mirror it. Your relationships will align under the same grace that lifted you. The same anointing that broke your chains will begin to break chains in others. That's what divine manifestation does. It multiplies. It doesn't just stop with you, it flows through you. You become a conduit of blessings, an extension of heaven's abundance on earth. The people who once pitied you will now seek your wisdom. Those who dismissed you will now be drawn to the light in your eyes, because when God elevates you, he does it publicly. He prepares a table before you in the presence of those who once doubted your destiny, not to humiliate them, but to demonstrate his sovereignty. And as you stand in that place of divine fulfillment, you'll realize that this was never just about receiving things, it was about becoming someone. God was not only preparing the promise for you, he was preparing you for the promise. Every season of waiting was refining your character, sharpening your discernment, strengthening your faith. Because if he had given it to you too soon, it would have crushed you. But now, after the tears, the waiting, the lessons, the midnight prayers, you're ready not just to handle the blessing, but to steward it with wisdom and grace. Ready not just to walk in favor, but to use that favor to impact lives. The weight of his glory is resting on you now, and you can carry it because you've been forged in the fire. There's a rhythm to divine timing. What once felt like delay was divine choreography. Every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every detour was part of a master design leading you to this exact moment. God was never late. He was precise. He was aligning the right people, the right conditions, the right timing for maximum impact. And now that everything has converged, the manifestation of your promise is undeniable. Heaven and earth are in an agreement about your elevation. Creation itself responds when your destiny unfolds. It's as though the universe exhales and says, finally, they've stepped into who they were always meant to be. You'll notice the difference not just in what happens to you, but in what happens through you. Your words will carry a new weight. Your prayers will move with greater authority. Your faith will no longer be about survival. It will be about dominion. You'll begin to command things in the spirit and watch them manifest in the natural. You'll decree a thing and see it established because you've crossed over from hoping to knowing, from believing to living it out. You'll begin to operate in a realm where miracles feel natural, where favor flows without friction, where doors open before you knock. This is the dimension of those who have seen God's faithfulness up close, those who no longer question if he will do it because they've already witnessed that He can. But never forget, this manifestation is not your finish line, it's your launching pad. It's God's way of saying, now that you've seen my power, go and be my power in the earth. You're being entrusted with influence, with resources, with revelation, not for comfort, but for kingdom expansion. You've been elevated not for status, but for service. The blessing was never meant to end with you. It's meant to flow through you and transform everything it touches. You are a carrier of divine acceleration, a distributor of grace, a vessel of breakthrough in the lives of others. You're being called to speak life into dry places, to bring light where there's darkness, to declare hope where there's despair. And as you walk in this new level of manifestation, keep your heart anchored in humility. Don't forget the wilderness that shaped your wisdom. Don't forget the nights that built your faith, because the posture that attracted the blessing is the same posture that will sustain it. Gratitude, obedience, and worship. Continue to seek His presence more than His promises, because His presence is the promise. Let your success be saturated with surrender. Let your increase be intertwined with intercession. Let your joy be rooted not in what you've received, but in who you've become through the process. So tonight, lift your eyes and recognize what's happening in the unseen. Heaven has shifted your status. The angels assigned to your destiny have been activated. The oil of favor is dripping over your head, flowing down through every area of your life. You've entered into divine synchronization with God's will. The manifestation you've prayed for is not coming, it's here. You are walking in it right now. The evidence is unfolding around you even as you breathe these words. The same power that called the universe into being is working in your favor tonight. You are standing in the fulfillment of prophecy, the realization of promise, and the manifestation of divine reward. This is your appointed time. Heaven has spoken. The promise has arrived. And from this moment forward, your life will forever echo the faithfulness of God.